In Capital News tonight, Minister of Industry and Trade shares reason behind rise in cooking oil prices in the country. 2 children from one family killed after a wall collapses on them due to rains. And in sports, Uganda and Tanzania groups announced for AFCON Under-20. Good evening. This is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's start things off with the national news. The Minister of Industry and Trade, Geoffrey Mwambe, has said that increase in cooking oil prices in the country has been contributed to by decrease in speed of production of cooking oil ordered and produced outside the country due to COVID-19, where he said that the government has already set various strategies to deal with price hikes and that there is no shortage of the commodity in the country.
Kwa sababu uzalishaji wa mbegu kwenye hayo maeneo pia ni labor intensive.
Production speed decreased due to several reasons like enough labor and outbreak of the pandemic, making global supply of oil decrease, making every country struggle in getting oil. Once orders made, it takes a while to get them on time, causing oil prices to go up in overseas. TBS have been funded by the government to import modern and mobile equipment to ensure that Tanzanians consume what is the best.
Kila nchi inaangaikia kupata mafuta. Kwa hiyo wafanyabiashara wanahangaika kuplace order. Kwa hiyo na order yako unapewa kulingana na mgao ambao wao watakuwa nao.
Meanwhile, fish traders at the main Sabasaba market in Rukwa region have asked the government to find an alternative way to regulate the price of cooking oil, which has risen from 85,000 shillings to 110,000 shillings, making it difficult for them to profit from their businesses.
Prices of oil have gone up. Our job is to fry fish. How are we going to earn living under these conditions? I call upon all involved in ensuring availability of the commodity in the country to do something and do something quickly. The government should help us in reducing prices of industrial oil in regard to the fact that sunflower prices have gone up. Right now, a can of sunflower oil is 110,000 shillings to 108,000 shillings. As traders, our sales have been jeopardized. Palm oil and sunflower oil prices are high, something that is putting traders in hardships. Wafugaji kutaifishwa mifugo.
2 children from one family at Kasese suburb, Kaseme Ward in Geita region have died, while 7 others escaped death after a wall in their home collapsed due to heavy rains.
I was inside the house when I heard stones falling. I ran away and the wall collapsed to my fellow children who were playing outside.
Hii nyumba ya familia ya maremi.
It was an old house built out of mud and trees. When the heavy rains came, one wall of the house collapsed. Someone came running to me while I was at the farm, telling me that the house has collapsed on children. When I reached at home, I found people giving aid to my firstborn, while the other one was sunk and rubbled. Following the ongoing rains, yesterday around 8 p.m., 2 children by the names of Ashiri Malimi, 4 years, and Laurencia Malimi, 2 years, died after a wall of their house fell on them. The rains are heavy. Some houses have collapsed. I urge residents of this region to take precautions during this season.
The President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, has said that his government is satisfied with the performance of Tanzania People's Defense Forces, TPDF, in Zanzibar. President Dr. Mwinyi said this at State House when he met and held talks with the Chief of the Defense Forces, General Venance Babeo.
I congratulate you for the job well done during the election period. People are used to see tension in Zanzibar during that period, but this time things were different. We are here to protect safety of our nation, union, and our citizens.
One day after over 200 cattle detained by defense and safety organs after being caught within Ihefu Valley, the Livestock Keepers Union has asked the government to intervene on the conflict while threatening to halt livestock slaughter activities and taking their cattle to auction if the cattle are nationalized illegally.
Sababu sekta hii ni sekta muhimu sana.
As livestock keepers community, we are not going to sit and watch livestock keepers being affected, as how they have decided to conduct the operation in those villages against President's directives. We want him to release the cattle within 15 days without any conditions. Again, we will not take it easy. Once there are any reports of death of cattle during the raid, something must be done. As a community, we are proposing that all livestock keepers in the country must benefit from their cattle.
Tanzania anayefuga, kila Mtanzania anayefuga ni lazima sasa anufaike na kazi ya mikono yake.
Meanwhile, livestock keeper Power Kandango, aged 22 and a resident of Mapogoro village, Mbarali district, has committed suicide next to Raha National Park for allegedly being bankrupt after over 50 of his cattle were caught by defense and safety forces running an operation to remove livestock from Ihefu Valley.
Amejinyonga kupitia kwamba alipoona ng'ombe wale wamekamatwa.
He hanged himself following their 50 cattle being seized by the Ministry of Natural Resources. I urge the government to allow me to pay the fine so that those cattle will be returned home.
Kama kutakuwa kuna mtu yote ambaye amekutwa amekufa au vyovyote ndani au nje ya hifadhi.
If a person found dead at the reserve must not involve reserve leadership for such incidences. So far, there are no clashes between the government and the livestock keepers. We have used diplomacy to remove livestock keepers and their cattle at the reserve. To all who will fail to follow the directive, legal measures will be taken against them.
Naomba nirudie, hakuna mapigano ya aina yoyote. Tumetumia diplomasia, tumetumia elimu kuwatoa wafugaji na mifugo yao.
The Inspector General of Police, IGP Simon Siro, said that road accidents in Tanga region have decreased by 71% and murders reduced by 66% as well in 2020, something that has been contributed to by cooperation from the public.
Commanders of these three regions must cooperate to ensure that we build dormitories, latrines and dining hall for police officers so that by March we begin our exercises. So far, terrorists and bandits are still leading challenges that we need to fight a lot in order to put an end to these crimes. Police officers must get these trainings in order to control such malpractices.
Vijana wetu wa bodaboda wanakufa sana kwa sababu hataki kufuata taratibu za usalama barabarani.
Motorcycle drivers are dying a lot because they fail to adhere to road safety rules. I urge all of you to use safety gears, have all necessary documents that allows you to ride motorbikes, follow all road safety rules. They are there to protect you and not otherwise.
Tumeheshimu hii mpaka tumefika hapa tulipo. Sasa ukianza kuwa kijana, kutii sheria, unakuwa mgeni wa nani?
Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has taken part in the burial of the Special Seats MP through CCM party from Nyara region, Martha Mpula, where he took the opportunity to urge the public to remember her by developing the good things she was doing during her life.
Na wote ambao wameguswa na msiba huu, niko mbele yenu.
I am here to represent Honorable President Dr. John Magufuli and the Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan. They have sent me to send their condolences to their family, colleagues and friends. As a leader and on behalf of all government employees, we also send our condolences to the family, husband, children, mother and father of the late Martha. The late Martha was one among members of Parliament that we worked with her closely at the Parliament. She had great contributions to the government. Up to her last days, she was part of a sensitive committee of the Parliament, which is the Budget Committee.
Kwetu sisi alikuwa role model wetu. Tulitamani kujifunza kwake.
To us, she was our role model. She has always treated us as her siblings. She taught us love and to love one another. In her position, even for those who were fighting for the position with her, she was still their friend. She also taught us about patience, because these positions of working for the people need a lot of patience. She was a very patient woman who never gave up.
Nafasi alionayo, hata wale waliojitokeza kugombea naye, Mama Martha alikuwa rafiki yao.
And that is where we leave off with the national news. International news is next. And now in international news. Ugandan troops have withdrawn from around the home of opposition leader and pop star Bobi Wine, ending his house arrest since January the 14th election won by long-serving President Yoweri Museveni. The withdrawal of security forces, which the government had said were for Bobi Wine's protection, complied with a court order on Monday. The court had termed his confinement to house unlawful. The incumbent was declared the winner with 59% of votes versus 35% for Bobi Wine, who had for years denounced corruption and nepotism in his songs. The opposition rejected the results, alleging fraud, which the government denies. And as Kenya continues to fight the second wave of desert locusts that have been entering Kenya through Somalia and Ethiopia, fear rising in over 25 counties where the locusts have invaded farms.
The government has established 8 control bases, sufficient control pesticides both at the headquarters.
That's where we leave off with international news. We'll be back with business news after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
And now in business news. The government, through Tanzania Bureau of Standards, TBS, will implement a special vehicle inspection system for vehicles used outside the country. And all the funds from the inspection will remain in the country and increase national revenue.
All involved stakeholders must participate fully to ensure that this program is fulfilled. If there are any challenges, must be dealt with accordingly.
The government has opened a special center in Arusha region to enable all officials in business divisions to provide services in one office, a step that will reduce inconveniences, save time and costs to seek out the services in different offices and locations.
In Arusha, we have introduced a one joint center that focuses on registration and developing trade at Pangani Street, Kati Ward. It will help us increase efficiency in collecting government revenues through new registered traders. Every year they have been complaining of failing to get opportunities, especially on getting accurate information on time.
That's all for business news. Sports is next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's been dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's been dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose and then
And now in sports. The Under-20 CECAFA Championship winners Uganda have been pooled in Group A of the Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations. Here's the report.
The Hippos will have to battle for a quarter-final berth with hosts Mauritania, Central African heavyweights Cameroon and Mozambique. Tanzania, who lost the CECAFA finals to Uganda, have been placed in a tough Group C that features Ghana, Gambia and Morocco, while Group B has Burkina Faso, Tunisia, Namibia and the Central African Republic. The two winners from each group will be guaranteed a place in the quarterfinals of the biennial competition, alongside the two best third-placed finishers from any of the two groups. Mali are the defending champions after beating Senegal 3-2 on penalties after a 1-0 draw in regular time. However, none of the two nations will be in Mauritania for the competition, which will take place from February 14th to March 4th.
Simba SC have signed striker Junior Lakosa as they improve their squad for the CAF Champions League group stages.
The Tanzania Mainland League champions were pooled with the Democratic Republic of Congo outfit in Group A alongside defending champions El Ahly and Sudanese heavyweights El Merreikh in a draw conducted at the CAF headquarters in Cairo, Egypt on Friday, January 8th. The Nigerian came in as a free agent after being released by the Tunisian heavyweights. He was deemed surplus to requirements and was dropped by coach Moin Chabani alongside fellow countryman Samuel Atvati and Algerian Tayeb Meziani. The 26-year-old was signed by Esperance after a good run in the Nigerian Professional League in 2018, where he managed to score 19 goals to emerge the top scorer.
And Frank Lampard has said he is disappointed to have been denied the chance to take Chelsea forward.
Blues legend was axed by Chelsea on Monday, 18 months after being appointed following the club's decision to part ways with Maurizio Sarri. Despite his status as the club's greatest goal scorer, Lampard was not immune from owner Roman Abramovich's hire and fire style. Chelsea topped the table earlier this season, but a poor run of form saw them slip to 9th in the Premier League and resulted in Lampard's departure. Abramovich issued a rare statement upon Lampard's exit, saying he has an excellent personal relationship with his former manager and said he will always be warmly welcomed back at Stamford Bridge.
Barcelona have released the club's annual financial report revealing considerable debt stemming from the coronavirus pandemic, as well as the club's big money transfers in recent seasons.
In the release, Barcelona revealed debt reaching 1.2 billion euros, along with short-term debt of roughly 730 million euros. The club's biggest area of spending is its wage bill, an area of spending that represents 74% of the club's income. It's a situation that, according to sources, is quite worrying at the club, which has led to the negotiations to defer salaries since the outbreak of the pandemic. Barca also owe a total of 126 million euros to other clubs, stemming from several transfer deals that the club has conducted in recent years.
David Moyes has reiterated that it would take Bank of England money for Chelsea to pry Declan Rice away from West Ham in the wake of Frank Lampard's dismissal.
Chelsea parted ways with Lampard on Monday, ending the club legend's managerial tenure after less than 2 seasons in charge. Throughout Lampard's time as Blues boss, the club has regularly been linked with Rice, a player that was often reported to be a major target of Lampard himself. Lampard was reportedly leading the charge to sign Rice, who has emerged as a vital piece of England's midfield, both in the present and the future. But with Lampard gone and Thomas Tuchel coming in, it remains to be seen how Chelsea approach transfers in the coming weeks and months.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. My name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and good night.